This has become a bit of a tradition in recent years. For those who don't know, Peter Szőr, or Péter Szőr, as he was called in his native Hungarian, was a great security researcher, one of the leading antivirus researchers, wrote probably the standard work on antivirus, which is still quite relevant and which I recommend people to read. That's him. He sadly passed away in 2013, and to keep his memory alive, we decided to give an award every year in his name to a great piece of technical security research published in a 12-month period between the 1st of July and the 30th of June the next year. This is the 4th year that we're doing that. Last year, Jonathan Kleinsma from Fox IT won from a paper he wrote on a target attack in Asia. We actually got many nominations this year. Thanks to those who submitted something. We got a short list of 3, but I want to give a special mention of 2 papers. The first honorable mention goes to a paper called Distributed Vulnerability Assessment, or actually it's a long piece of it's a combination of various research papers and presentations by people from Secudit, who were outside who had a sponsor booth outside this room, and the University of Dunau-Vjáros, or something along those lines in Hungary. And I mention it because it's a great piece of research, and also do a mistake on my behalf. It was submitted too late, so I apologize to Ferenc and his crew. And the second honorable mention is for a paper on the Bayrock botnet takedown, and which is a very long project by people from Symantec together with the FBI, and that's actually Liam Amerciu who's going to talk about this tomorrow afternoon. And it's one of these good news stories that sometimes we, in the fight against bad stuff on the internet in general and cybercrime in particular, we're doing quite well. So we got a short list of 3 assets. I'll mention them, and then Liam Amerciu, who was a good friend of Peter, and who's actually presented tomorrow, as I already mentioned. He will do the Oscar thing and open the envelope and read out the winner. So the first nomination is the well-known SHA-1 collision paper. Now, as research papers go, this one was very unsurprising because it was a public secret that even this group was working on this piece of research. At the same time, or why it was actually nominated is firstly because it is still an important piece of research, but also it was a really great paper, and they did some really clever stuff beyond the brute forcing. I think if you actually seen the details, and if you care about this stuff, this matters. And this matters in an industry where some people are still using MD5 hashes, and it's a personal pet peeve of mine. So maybe we stop doing that. The second nomination is for AKBuilder. This is a crowdsourced exploit kit by Gábor Szappanos, or Zappi for friends from Sophos in Hungary. When we think of exploit kits, we usually think of web-based exploit kits. This is a builder for malicious Word documents, and not the kind of Word documents where you have to enable a macro, but another kind that's given a lot less attention, but it's used by quite a few criminal groups and other kind of malicious actors. And Gábor has written quite a few papers on this subject. He's actually presenting about this tomorrow, and it shows an important piece in the chain of cybercrime, and it highlights highlights how cybercrime works, but also it really describes how well these exploit kits work and how they make the life of a malicious actor quite easy. And thirdly, there's a research project called Iran Threats by Colin Anderson and Claudio Guarnieri. Claudio, you may have seen speaking here yesterday. I think most of us are, I mean, it's a very global audience here, but most of us are from what we call Western countries. And most of us focus on threats facing threats that people in Western countries face. I think we sometimes forget, even though we're aware of it, that for members of civil society in Iran, there are some serious digital threats that they face that are different than the ones that we face. And I think it's very important. It's something that these guys both do in their free time. And I think for that reason alone, the nomination is well deserved. And okay, so that's a short list. So I'd like to ask Liam to do the Oscar thing. I did, by the way, link from the Virus Bulletin Twitter account a blog post Liam wrote in memory of Peter Szőr almost 4 years ago, and please do read it because it's really touching. And
thank you. Actually, I might just say a quick word about Peter, if that's okay. When I moved to Los Angeles, I've been working with Semantic for 15 years now, and when I moved to Los Angeles about 10 years ago, Peter Szőr was somebody who I really looked up to in the industry, and I had read his book. And I had the great pleasure of actually working alongside him in Los Angeles when I moved there. He was sitting at the cubicle next to me, and although he wasn't my manager, or he wasn't in my direct organization, it was a great privilege for me to be sitting beside somebody who I respected so much. And I always remember when I moved there that I had a difficult time settling in, and it was a lot of work to take on when I moved there. And he was the only person who came up to me and who gave me encouragement and told me that I was doing a good job and just made me feel like all the hard work was worth it. And that's something that always sticks out to me. So something I would like you to take away today is to remember we've got a lot of great people in the room here. We've got some legends of the industry, and we've got some junior people. And wherever you're at in your career, there are people who look up to you, and it only takes you a second to look at them, to look at the work that they're doing, and to give them encouragement and to say, you're doing a good job, keep going. So spread the peace and love. So now I have to open the envelope, and Martijn said I should do the Oscar thing, and the Oscar thing this year was to announce the wrong winner, so I'm looking forward to that.
We double-checked it's the right winner.
Okay. And the winner is Gábor Szappanos from Sophos. Oh, you do. Oh, yeah, okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you.
I heard some people say that Gábor should give a speech, which I fully agree. He will give a speech tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock in the green room, where he will talk about this very subject. Yeah, please enjoy the rest of your dinner and the rest of the entertainment. Have a great evening, and see you all tomorrow.